With everything we know about the writers, the showrunner, everybody involved with the Witcher Netflix series, especially after the exit of Henry Cavill, it was expected that Blood Origin would be a disaster, that it would be bad, that it wouldn't be very good. I don't think anybody could have predicted how bad it was and the reaction that it had. The Witcher Blood Origin hits new low for Netflix as negative reviews pile on. And yeah, that's an understatement. 35% from the critics and 12% from the audience. Tied for the worst rated Netflix original that we have ever seen in terms of that audience reaction. And it does look like Henry Cavill got out just at the right time. And now, with reaction to Blood Origin, how bad it's been, a lot of people are now speculating on one of the things we saw at the very, very end of that series and how it could tie in to what they want to do to the Witcher mainline series and how potentially they're looking to reboot the entire freaking thing with the departure of Henry Cavill. Not simply subbing in Liam Hemsworth instead of Henry Cavill continuing on, but maybe something completely and entirely different. The Witcher Blood Origin ending sparks theory that Netflix will address Geralt's recasting by rebooting the entire series. While Netflix has remained mum on just how exactly they plan to address Geralt of Rivia's upcoming recasting from Henry Cavill to Liam Hemsworth in The Witcher, the ending to the series' Blood Origin prequel has sparked a new theory which suggests they'll do so by outright rebooting the entire franchise. And we do just have to say it's just a theory, and it's a theory from my friend Sporking News Podcast. And let's just get into it here. I do think there's a lot of sense. Otherwise, why would they put this in there? We'll get into it. The theory was first raised by YouTuber Sporking News Podcast. He said this, broaching the topic of The Witcher Blood Origin as part of the night's planned topics, Sporking News Podcast recalled after viewing its finale, he was left with the impression Netflix would be taking drastic measures to explain Cavill's recasting. They're either going to write Geralt out completely and have a different Witcher, or Hemsworth is going to take over the role, but they're going to start from season 1 again, and it's just going to be a different story. That would be crazy and wild if they did that. In explanation, Sporking News pointed to the post-credit scene of Blood Origin's finale episode of Mages, Malice, and Monstrous Mayhem. And yes, after all of this merging of worlds, after all this crazy shit, which a lot of you probably didn't watch Blood Origin for good reason. It was dog shit. Don't waste your time. It was terrible. But they did show this converging of time and space and things like that. But afterwards, in the post-credit scene, you saw a scene that was from season 1 of The Witcher. Except this time, instead of seeing Geralt, it was a little bit different. Therein, having seemingly used the monoliths to travel between the various worlds of the multiverse, the mage has transported to the city of Sintra some 1,500 years in the future, where he takes notice of young Ciri playing dice on the streets. It's the same exact scene that we saw from the first season of The Witcher. Likewise, during this dice game, Ciri finds herself overwhelmed with the uneasy feeling she's being watched. But rather than eventually discovering that the pressuring gaze she felt was that of Geralt, as she did in the 7th episode of The Witcher, Blood Origin instead retcons the story. So Ciri instead meets the gaze of the mage himself, who smirks in response to his being noticed. The small moment of nonverbal communication at such an early point of the core series timeline is meant to serve as a divergence point from which Netflix can tell a new story, a new version of Geralt's tale with Hemsworth in the role, and without any of Cavill's influence regarding source material accuracy. They're letting us know without telling us that they are rewriting season 1 of The Witcher. Bye-bye Henry Cavill. And that does kind of go in line. With something we heard from Lauren Hisrich. Geralt has a new mission in mind when we come back to see him in season 4. A new mission for some reason. He's a slightly different Geralt than we expected. Now, by the way, that is an understatement. That's from Lauren Hisrich herself. So whether this plays out, who knows? This post-credit scene clearly fucks with the timeline for The Witcher. Clearly is a retcon. So it does make a lot of sense that people would move that way. Either way, this show has been a complete and total catastrophe for Netflix, who's had a lot of bad things happen this year. Lost 50% of their stock, lost over $100 million in market cap. They're panicking. They're doing everything they can to hold on to the subscribers they have while trying to wring more money out them because it's just been that bad for Netflix and the rest of woke Hollywood. But for sure, Blood Origin was a new low even for them.